Good afternoon and welcome to the Natchitoches Parish School Board meeting of November 15th, 2022. We would ask that you please silence all of your cell phones. And if you are here to speak to an agenda item, if you will fill out a form at the back of the room and pass it up front. We are going to begin our meeting with a moment of silence. We did, unfortunately, lose an educator in October, Mrs. Daphne Butler. So we're going to take a moment of silence to remember her and her contributions to our district. Okay, if you'll please stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight and we thank you for our district. We thank you for all of our educators. We thank you for all of the effort and prayer and work that goes into making our school system run. And Lord God, we thank you for every single person around this table, and we ask that you bless our meeting with heavenly wisdom. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And if we could have a roll call, please.
Mr. Danzy.
Here.
Mr. Matuire.
Here.
Mr. Benefield. Here. Mr. Garner.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Present.
Mrs. Guidros.
Here.
Mrs. Broadway.
Here.
Mrs. McGaskey. Ms. Palmer. Ms. Phelps.
Here.
And Ms. Harvey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will turn this over to Dr. Eloy, who has some presentations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I am very excited tonight to recognize three. I need to find a different adjective because some of them are already distinguished educators, but three of our best and brightest in the district. I want to start off with Miss Alicia Hudlow. If you want to, come on to the podium.
Don't be shy.
Miss Hudlow is our former band director at Natchitoches Central. She is now running some of our feeder programs, and I think is helping us to the point where we're going to see our high school programs grow substantially over the next few years. So we're very excited. But she was honored with the Robert L. Wilhite Award of Excellence for her work at Natchitoches Central, and that specifically recognizes quality instrumental music programs serving historically disadvantaged student populations. I can tell you, when I was a teacher, I worked with Miss Hudlow, and I now, as superintendent, see her work in the district. She's a huge advocate for music education, but she's also just a huge advocate for students. She is one of our prized employees in this district, and we're just so proud of her. I think she'll be recognized this Saturday as well. Monday, I'm sorry. So we're very excited for her, and if you have a few words of wisdom to share with us, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, I don't know about wisdom, but I've been in this parish for several years now, coming from Rapides before. I've taught all over Louisiana and some in Texas. And when I first got here, there weren't very many music programs, and it didn't feel like we had a lot of support, and that has changed 180. It's been an amazing change, and it's been wonderful to talk to other music educators in the state and tell them that if they need support, this is where you can find it. It's a district that supports the arts and that we are always growing. And I'm really, really proud of that. I'm proud of the work that we're doing, and I hope it continues.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause. Ms. Hudlow, also for all your hard work, as a small token of our appreciation, we'd like to give you Chick-fil-A for a year. So if you
We'll
don't
take it.
Oh, that's nice. Yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do that at every board meeting, but until they run out, Thank you. Our next two folks, we're going to talk about them separately, but they come as a combination because they were both awarded the Gillespie School of Education at Northwestern, the Gillespie School of Education Distinguished Educator Award. To be honored for this, you have to have gone to school at Northwestern either as an undergraduate or graduate, have at least 30 years of experience, but then also have contributed significantly to education. And I think both of these ladies can check the boxes on all of that. Again, two of our prized employees. I'll start with Miss M. Horton. I think everyone in this parish knows and loves Miss Horton. She told me the other day that she started her career actually at the pre-K center, the preschool center, which we talk about a lot at MLK Head Start. It was a different iteration at that point, and she now is in year 30.
Actually, 32.
32. I'm trying to keep up with you. And she is one of our wonderful ed diagnosticians with our pupil appraisal. And so before I give you your chicken for the year, if you would share a few tidbits about your journey here in Natchitoches Parish, we'd love to hear from you.
First of all, I was honored and humbled by being inducted. It was something I never, ever, ever expected. I started my career in Red River Parish. I was not certified, but I didn't go through alt-cert. I went through the regular certification program with student teaching, and Ms. Sue Hortman at the preschool center gave me my first job. Then the pendulum swung, and they closed the preschool center. We had a program for infants and toddlers with disabilities, which I have to say, over the last 3 weeks at LP Vaughn, sisters, aunts, and grandparents of some of those children have come before SBLC, and we have shared pictures from back in the day. Today was one of them. But after they closed the preschool center, I moved to North Natchitoches, which is now LP Vaughn, under Mr. Johnson and Mr. Mims. And after being there for just a few years, someone from central office came to me and said, we're in a situation. We need an ed diagnostician. I said, I'm not certified. Well, if you can get your certification in a year, we'll hire you to do that. I was like, oh my gosh, should I? Steve said, yeah, do it. So Northwestern worked with me, and that's why now I work at Northwestern. I teach adjunct, the whole early childhood special ed sequence, and the ed diagnostician classes. I feel it's real important to give back to what has given me so much. And I am a product of Natchitoches Parish Schools. I went through from nursery school, 4-year-olds, all the way up to 8th grade at NSU Elementary and NSU Middle School. And I also went through Natchitoches Central High School. And I went to Northwestern, received all 3 of my degrees from Northwestern. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I've never left Natchitoches.
Yeah, great.
I met my husband here, I kept him here, and we're not going anywhere.
Yes, indeed.
So thank you.
So it's not a fancy trophy. It's
I'll
not,
take it.
but in some respects, I think it's even better. So
Definitely better.
My office is right down the hall from Ms. Hedlett. And the band directors have always been wonderful. They really have. But I have never heard the quality that I'm hearing this year. And I don't know if it's just the students are more interested or what, but if you haven't come by Magnet to see the band, you really need to, because it's unbelievable. It really is.
Awesome.
So, interesting side note, when I was waiting for y'all to make y'all's decision when y'all were looking for a superintendent, I was in a hallway, and the first person in Natchitoches Parish I talked to was Miss Horton. I couldn't remember her name because I was a bundle of nerves, and I remember I asked Miss Page when I finally got here, I said, who was that lady I was talking about? And I tried to describe her. I said, you know, the Steel Magnolias lady. Because she just, to me, represented exactly what Natchitoches is, and I mean that as a complete compliment, but she was one of the first people I was introduced here. So thank you, Ms. Horton. The next person I cannot say enough about. She is just a driving force at the lab system. She thought she was going to retire, and that old movie quote, I thought I was out, and then they pulled me back in again. She is part of this system we're doing that I can't tell you all the good things because it's embargoed by the state until tomorrow at 4 o'clock. But she is a part of this movement that is making differences for kids. And it's just amazing to see someone who could go to the house and just hang out and drink sweet tea and watch the stories all day. But instead, she wants to be there in the trenches and is probably working harder than she ever has in her entire life and loving every bit of it. So, again, Miss Sheila Warner, if you would please share a little bit as well.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't like to talk in front of people, but it's, like Em said, it was just an honor to receive the award that we received, a privilege. But as I look at y'all, I mean, I've taught y'all's children, I've taught some grandchildren. Natchitoches is just, it's, you know, I was raised here, went to school here, went to Northwestern, spent over 20-something years teaching in Natchitoches Parish. And I did go home for a year. And had I had this position that I have now, though, I think I would have probably stuck around for a while. But it was an honor to be able to even to come back. I'm enjoying what I'm doing tremendously. It's hard. It is harder than we've done before, but I just love it. I love the children in Natchitoches. You know, I am at the lab schools. I've been there for, 14, 17 years, I guess, but I've also been at Province. I've been to other schools. And, I mean, it's just like they're my children. So the Natchitoches children are my children, and I just love them. So, anyway, thank y'all.
Thank you.
So since the Natchitoches children are your children, you have to make sure and share these 52. Thank you so much, Ms. Warren. There you go. You can.
Nothing like eat more chicken, though. Eat more chicken.
So before I move on, again, thank you, these three ladies. I think they all deserve another round of applause. I do want to mention, board members, there will be a press conference tomorrow with some good news. Just can't say what it is because that old State Department likes to embargo things. But we will also be live streaming that, so please touch base with us tomorrow on our Facebook page or YouTube page, and you can see what good news is coming. With that, I'll hand it over to Ms. Phelps, and she has some other guests.
Great. Thank you so much. Tonight, you may notice a lady with a crown in the audience. She is the Queen, the Miss Merry Christmas Queen, and she is visiting with us tonight, and her bells are with her as well, and they have a Christmas wish or greeting to share with all of us. If you'll make your way to the podium, we have Miss Emma Giddings, Miss Merry Christmas 2022.
I also believe is part of the award-winning Natchitoches Central volleyball team, correct?
Yes.
You wear the crown during volleyball?
Yes, I do. I just want to say thank you to Natchitoches Parish School Board for having me and my bells here today. And I also just want to thank everyone who works in Natchitoches Parish because they do a lot for us, and we're very grateful for them. So, yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, if you'll each come to the podium and introduce yourself. And tell us what school you're from and, of course, what grade you're in.
My name is Jessie Foshee, and I'm a senior at Natchitoches Central High School.
My name is Bailey Ebarb, and I'm a senior at Natchitoches Central High School.
I'm Beth Ann Methan. I'm also a senior at Natchitoches Central.
I'm Farrah Murkison, and I'm also a senior at Natchitoches Central.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thank you.
Very, very much. Yes, and we would like to take a photo with you, if you will indulge us. Yes, absolutely. Can you see all of us? We can get tighter.
All right, come on, Miss Giddens.
Thank you.
This is your date. We got our poles on. We got our poles on.
Thank you so much. We are honored to have y'all here, and thank you for everything you do and your leadership in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. I know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christmas bells. That's such a. I'm sorry. Are you? You're their agent. Yes, ma'am.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Well,
Thank you.
So that's always a fun way to, whether it be our students, which by the way, all those young ladies are Natchitoches Central. I think that's so neat that that school's so well represented, but then also our educators. Changing directions really quick, the last thing I have on my report, if y'all recall, I was going to have the CEA ready for y'all between the city of Natchitoches and the school board. There's one other item that's kind of lagging that I mentioned to a few of you offline that I can send you an email about that we have to get corrected. So if y'all are okay with that, we would like to delay the vote on that until December. It doesn't delay anything with the city. It just means we have to figure just one item out on that. And with that being said, if there's no other questions, that's my superintendent report.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving along to item number 3, consent agenda, items A through C. If we have a motion.
We'll offer.
Okay, we have an offer
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Item number 4, informational reports. We do have Mr. Ryan Shirley with us tonight. He was unable to make the previous meeting. His attachment is there with all of his items. Does anyone have any questions, or Mr. Shirley? Do you have anything to share with us?
Actually, excuse me, actually I do. We declared the surplus items at one of the previous meetings. I met with the auctioneer this past Friday. Due to the holidays, the first week of January is when we're going to try to hold the auction to get rid of those items. So it'll give us a month to prepare and find out what we need to do for as what items go where, who, how, and we'll have that ready. But I'll keep y'all informed between now and then and have another update at the next meeting.
Wonderful. Any questions for Mr. Shirley? Okay, thank you so much. Mrs. Washington, please accept my apology. I was excited about maintenance.
Ready for mine. Good afternoon, everybody. As of transportation, what's going on in transportation, we've brought in 3 new drivers, so we're getting back to that 100% capacity. I'm going to say right now we're still short maybe 3, so we're still recruiting. We got like 4 other people in the pipeline, so hopefully by the end of this school year, with the holidays and everything, we should be fully staffed coming January. So we're still going to keep recruiting, just for backup in case somebody has to go out or anything. So right now, that's what we're focusing on right now. We had a couple of spots that was in Marthaville that we were able to fill, and I was kept in touch with one of the parents to make sure, just to see how things were going, and she said everything was going well in that area. We lost a driver in Clutreville, but we were able to fill that spot as well. So, like I said, as of right now, everything is, we're able to fill in the slots that was hard, that we were having the kids that were really out in the rural area to not get home so late now that we have a set bus driver for that area. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good evening. Thank
y'all.
you. And we're sorry we don't have Chick-fil-A for you. Okay.
Madam President, there's a gray F-150 in the parking lot with the lights on.
Okay.
So whoever's left their lights on, if they can go turn them off.
Is that any of our board members? Okay. Thank you for letting us know. Okay. So everyone sees the informational reports. Hopefully, if you have any questions from the prior meeting, you've had time to address those. And we'll move along to item number 5, finance, facilities, services, and insurance. Mr. Danzy.
We have nothing this period to discuss.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 6, personnel, new position, English learner, paraprofessional. And we would need a motion and a second to continue.
I'll offer that.
I'll second.
Okay, we have an offer by Mr. Harris and a second by Ms. McGaskey.
Yes.
Okay, so any discussion or questions before we vote? So we have an offer and a second. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. Matoir?
Yes.
Mr. Benefiel?
No.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Guidros?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
And Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. This will move us along to the executive report. Mrs. Beverly Broadway.
Okay, item 7A, we still have the NCHS update. Ms. Palmer, do you have anything further there?
No, we can move on.
Okay. Item 7B, homeschool children in NPSB sports. I know at our committee meeting, we had discussed my wanting to change this to a voting item. However, I did neglect to get that request in writing on time, and so I am going to ask my board members, my fellow board members, if we could vote to suspend the rules so that we can change this to a voting item, so that way we can go ahead and address this issue and begin moving forward, however the board sees fit.
Okay. So that you're moving that we.
To suspend the rules so that we can go ahead and change this to a voting item as was originally intended.
Okay. So we have a motion and we need a second.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, and roll call vote, please.
I'm gonna need a moment so that I can add this to the agenda.
Yes.
Yes,
and-
ma'am.
And as mentioned in previous meetings, we did move to a live platform, so it'll take just a few moments for her to update the board docs in a live manner so we can proceed after that.
And what exactly that motion will entail? She needs to know
The
that.
motion is to suspend the
Oh,
rules.
okay,
Right.
just to suspend.
Right.
Okay.
To move it from discussion to voting.
Which must be unanimous.
Exactly. If you had any more chicken to pass out, this would have been a great time.
We actually already had people come and pick up.
I would have too. I would have been here quick.
5 or 6 people already came and picked it up.
I think I would have been waiting in the parking lot to see if I won. I would just be sitting there.
These were some of the people that,
We called out this afternoon, yes, ma'am.
that weren't here for the board meeting.
No, this afternoon at 3:30, we did a live drawing for all employees.
Oh, you did?
We gave away 61. And so, and then we had, the rest of them will go to Students of the Year, Teachers of the Year, Support Personnel of the Year, Principal of the Year, and then we gave a few to like distinguished educators and Ms. Hudlow. And I think we'll probably still have a few left that Ms. Page has to figure out, catch someone doing something good or something she'll give out.
While we're waiting, Mr. Cozad, in December, I'd like to put something on the agenda to the fact of where we are with devices handed out, damage control, and where we are at mid-year. Is that something we can pull together for next month?
I can pull the reported data for the mid-year, but I'm going to offer that report with a bit of caution because it seems to me, based on previous history, we get a big surge of damage reports at the end of the school year when they do collection.
Okay.
So what you get mid-year may
let's
be very
brace ourselves
misleading.
for good news in December then.
So, I'm sorry, Mr. Cozad, you're saying it just might not be indicative of the true nature of.
Correct.
Yeah,
little
okay.
little Johnny cracks his screen. It doesn't tell anyone until the end of the year when he has to turn it in.
Gotcha. Okay.
we can totally ask him that. Mr. Kozad, so we have nothing else to do besides talk to you. Mr. Benefield would like to know how your new truck is coming along.
Just kind of like everyone else who's tried to buy a new truck in the year. We're just waiting on the dealership to get it in. Purchase
okay.
order's been completed. We've given it to them. They have not given me an official lead time, which is probably wise because every lead time I've gotten on any equipment in the last year has been off by months. So
Right. So not delivered yet, but with high hopes.
we're in hurry up and wait, and maybe we'll get it within the year.
So you got a great price, but not so much delivery.
I mean, if we want to approve out-of-state travel, I'll hit up to Dearborn, Michigan, and see if I can convince them to hurry up. But not sure the Ford plant's going to listen to me.
Walk it down the line.
See no flaw in that plan at all.
Oh, I'm sure they'll let you in.
So just a reminder to the board members, this is our first time utilizing the new platform with the new voting, way of voting. So it's taken just a few moments, and thank you for your patience.
So you're telling me I can't vote no first?
No.
So, apologies, we're having some technical difficulties, but just so the board is aware, I think what we're gonna have to do is, it may not look appropriate on board docs, but as long as we do everything proper in the meeting, we can go back in and call our board docs tech guy and fix it after the fact. So.
Okay.
It doesn't negate, we can still go forward with what we
Right.
do. It'll just may not show up on board docs.
Right, and again, my apologies for the disruption. I mean, it was just an oversight, and
No worries.
again,
Okay. Ms. Revels, are we okay to go ahead and vote?
That's great.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Any order.
Option? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Garner?
No.
Sorry, I got all kind of difficulties.
Motion fails?
Yeah, the motion fails first.
Okay.
all right, we'll move to item 7C. With all of these policies, are these that we can take all at once?
I don't see why not. We're just rubber stamping them.
Right,
Yeah,
these
are all from
were.
legislation.
Okay, let's look at items 7C through 7P. Various policies that are required to be adopted.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor to adopt 7C through 7P?
I'll offer.
Okay. We have an offer.
Sorry, should be 7 through 7Q, correct?
No,
No.
it's not a policy.
Fee.
Who's the board?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not update I didn't refresh my
Oh.
agenda. So yes, it's going to be item 7D through 7Q.
Whoa.
Well, C is use of facilities on my.
Oh, I see it now. Just,
We didn't update. See, that one's updated when she added the new motion.
When
to
the item was
suspend.
added to board docs, it changed
Right.
the
Okay, I
the
see.
letters.
Right,
So that would be
Yeah.
we got to refresh.
yes.
Okay.
This would be 7.
C through,
I think it's going to be 7D through 7Q.
7D through 7Q.
How can we vote on these here if we couldn't vote on the other thing else? It would have to be on with the voting.
yeah, but
Well,
this
that
was
was,
already,
that was to
Right.
make a change, Mr. Matwire.
Right.
To move it from discussion item to voting.
all these was
Ins-
already voting items.
Right. So we had to have a unanimous vote in order to proceed with that. And our first vote was no, so that,
Yeah, I know, it had to be.
okay.
Okay, so 7D through 7Q.
Q.
So 7D,
No, P. 7D.
D through 7.
Y'all are correct. Mine didn't refresh
Right.
either, sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't, you have to manually refresh your screen.
gotta go get out and get back in.
Yes. And to be clear, these are only the resolutions, policies that were required by law, nothing else.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have a motion by Mr. Benefield, a second by Mrs. Palmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, yes, sir.
There is a discussion because
Oh.
I was asked on these amendments, is there anything we could do? Yeah, you can always go to the state and question it, but as far as with us, we can't do nothing but vote to.
For instance, there is one that we do think is going to be amended, but for us to be compliant, we have to, and as soon as they probably rescind it 6 months from now, then we'll have to rescind
If we
it.
had some problem with it, we can always, question the state. Why, how did we come to this?
Okay, so with your question, do you suggest that we take them line by line? Is there one in particular or just in general?
There's not. I just wanted to make sure to the public that's, even if they had problems with what we were voting on, they can always.
Contact their legislator?
Right.
Okay.
Well, since we're voting on them totally, you said if there was a concern, we could just voice their concern at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's not going to change anything. I just wanted to say, in reference to F, the policy regarding F, bullying and hazing, we've had a lot of serious issues with bullying in the past, and now that we've got the statute from the state, and it'll make it a lot easier. It'll be a help to us, because we've had so many students, since I've been on the board, that have had some serious bullying issues, and they weren't resolved in a positive manner that, as far as the students, to help them move forward.
Yes, ma'am.
So-
I'm sorry. I think the one thing I would always encourage all parents, all teachers, anyone associated with the district, when they look at these policies, specifically in terms of bullying, they need to read that definition of bullying. Because what we kind of throw out there like, oh, my kid's been bullied or I've been bullied, that may still be true, but it has to go in line with that state definition, and it's a very specific definition. So a student walks up and punches another student, a one-off event, that's a fight. It's not good, but it's not bullying. And so that's what we're really trying to get the public and again, ourselves, everyone in our system, and parents to understand, and students, is that it has to meet very strict requirements to be labeled bullying. It can still be bad, and we can still deal with it even if it's not. But bullying is a very strict legal definition.
And I understand that.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
understand when you said the difference between fighting and bullying. And I'm glad that these statutes, that we've received the information,
Right.
and we have clarification, so that when we get phone calls and these situations arise, we can refer them to the statute. Because my concern was, and from my constituents, is that, and I've dealt with them firsthand about kids that were actually in bullying situations, and they didn't get resolved, whereby the kids felt safe, and then there had to be some drastic changes taken with the kids having to be moved to a different school and things of that nature, and it shouldn't have to happen. All the steps that, and I see it's mandated for all of the employees, everybody that's involved, to take steps to resolve it, so it's good to have that.
And I'll
instructions.
concur with you, because some of our discipline coordinators, we have to very much follow this guideline, because if a kid even thinks they're being bullied and they report it, and then it's determined that it was reported, but nothing was ever done with it, and then something occurred. I got a situation as a pastor that I'm having to be in court behind. You know what I'm saying?
And it shouldn't have to go to that extent. It should be resolved within the school district.
So now with the uses of the facilities, so we're gonna stop all this what's going on at schools? Because I know we have some people having these tournaments at these schools and stuff and charging the queen,
So,
go by this policy.
yes, sir. So the specific change on this policy, because the policy committee, separate from these, we had to get these done for the legislation, and they had to be in place by January 1. Specifically, the facility use on this one was about including the patriotic organizations. At the same time, I do believe, I think you brought it up, and then I want to say someone on policy committee also may have, we are also looking at, separate from this or parallel to it, looking at our policy in terms of what we do and don't allow for facility usage, amending that one at the same time.
About the local.
Well, it does say the
Yes.
family reunions, birthdays, weddings, showers, things like that. So to your point, Mr. Mill, yes, sir.
Yeah, we have to both enforce the one we currently have, and until we amend, but we are also in the process of amending it. But until it is amended, it needs to be enforced. So yes, sir.
Because they were being used for some of these
Yes, ma'am.
activities.
Yeah.
I think historically, yes, many of they have been kind of community centers and things of that nature, and then they cannot be utilized for profit because they're public entities and taxpayer funded, all those things.
Okay, any other remarks or discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Ms. McGaskey?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Broadway?
Yes.
Ms. Guidros?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey? Yes. Mr. Matoir?
Yes.
And Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, item 7R is the 2023 board meeting calendar, and I think we left off with requesting 3 separate
Yes.
variations.
So my apologies to the board. You all asked for that today. I wrote down, and I put it down as being due in December. So we have these.
I wrote that as well.
We collectively just cognitive dissonance, and we put down that it was ready for December. We did create those for y'all, but we did not put this as an agenda item because we were thinking it was prepared for December. So again, if you would like to, we would have to a motion to suspend rules unless y'all are willing to put that on the December agenda, which I can tell you right now, the December agenda is a light agenda. We have it ready for you, so it would not, I think, impede anything.
Can you send it out in advance?
We could scan them and email them to y'all tomorrow morning.
Because I thought that's what we wanted to, copies of them, and then we were going to vote on them in December.
I think that's all that discussion kind of, me and Ms. Kanika both had different thoughts on it, and we both thought we were right, so.
Where we can look at them and then we would be to vote on them.
So we can give them to you tomorrow, and that way you'll have more than enough time to really figure out what you want for December, if y'all want to go that way. And those 3 calendars are what y'all asked for, the Tuesday, the Thursday, and what we currently have now.
All right, that concludes the executive report.
I have one item before we motion to adjourn, if I can. Board members, I know last year we had a lot of discussion about the district calendar. I did want to mention to you, and I'd like to have this conversation offline because I think we would probably be here for a while, and it's not a discussion item. But we are starting our process for our district calendar starting Thursday. So that's starting in November, as opposed to last year. If y'all recall, we had a much more abbreviated period. The first group we will be talking to is the Teacher Advisory Committee. That's about 12 folks who are in my advisory committee, and I'll just simply be asking them what they liked about this year, what they would like to possibly see in a new calendar, things of that nature. So we're just collecting information. Then we have the Principal Advisory Committee, which I think comprises Crystal Davis, Micah Coleman, and 2 other principals that just aren't coming to mind right off the top of my head. We will ask them the same thing, similar questions, just gathering information. Then we will send out a district-wide questionnaire. I know last year there was some concern that maybe some of our employees who don't have email addresses did not participate. We are going to make sure through a principals discussion that all those folks that have emails obviously go through that, but then every principal needs to sign off that every single one of their school food service and their custodians and anyone else without an email accesses that through a school computer. Then we will create some drafts, and then we will have those same people we just put that out to. Eventually, we'll have them vote. Then we will bring those to you with the votes as they were. So this whole process will take us probably until February. I anticipate bringing before you a February calendar to vote on.
Could we add some parents into that? I don't know if the board would want to get a parent in a district to look at it, because in my district, I had a lot of parents saying, why do we let just the school facilities, the faculty do it? Why can't some of the parents have a say-so, because it affect them? As though it affect the employees.
So like a parent advisory committee?
Yeah.
We actually have a parent advisory committee, and I'll be speaking to them next month. So if y'all don't mind, I could just include, that's a group that we already have intact, and I could get some feedback from them as well.
Yeah, because that's why I had several of them, and I had several of them ask me if we have a group that would love to join it. Because
Parent feedback, yes, sir. And I will tell you,
actually have kids in grade school, and that's what they say.
as a plug, we definitely want some more parents in that parent advisory council too. So if this is the means to get them in that parent advisory council, I would love to have them, because Ms. Calhoun runs that, and she's always looking for eager folks to be a part of that.
Well, with that too, a lot of our educators have children in the system as well. So we do have a lot of parents looking at it as well.
But I do think, that's teacher, principal, parent, and then we'll do the district-wide thing. I think we'll have almost more information than we even know what to deal with, which most of it will be, if it's anything like last year, please do a calendar just like Northwestern states. That's what we get a lot, so.
Is Ms. Calhoun still in charge of the Parent Action Committee?
She is, yeah. She came and talked to me about it today, so we have a meeting on the books for next month.
Next month, if you don't mind, if they could send that out to parents before it is, I think we'll have a better participation from the parents.
So this group, you're correct. If she needs some people, she can put it out there. I think she solidified this number probably in the summer for this year, but if she's looking to recruit, you are correct. Yes, sir.
Right, because I've been part of that.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, that was it.
Thank you. So we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Okay. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.